What's going on, my fellow A-plusers? Welcome back once again to a brand new episode. I'm your host, as always, Adam Perez, as we are ready to go ahead and get into some Supergirl talk for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. As we do have ourselves a brand new video here today to go ahead and highlight some incredible news that I certainly was not expecting to certainly see today. Some heartbreaking news, certainly for some of us out there as well. Listen, guys, for those of you who have been following us prior to our A-plus Hero Report channel, when we were just A-plus opinions, we were really highly invested in Supergirl. I had been reviewing that season since season one, all the way up to the current season and season 5. Was really looking forward to the 6th season here with everything that was going on with the pandemic. Unfortunately, we didn't know exactly when we were going to go ahead and get this series. A lot of the DC television shows, unfortunately, have been pushed to at least January of 2021 to take into consideration of the pandemic. So filming has certainly slowed down. And one of the big question marks that I had going into Supergirl season 6 was not only exactly what were we going to get yet, but when we were going to get that particular series, because of the fact that Melissa Benoist is currently pregnant and is currently expecting a child. So to say the least, while I thought Tuesday was going to be a great day for me, unfortunately, we do have some terrible news. For those of you out there who were big fans of Supergirl, unfortunately, Supergirl is going bye-bye. Bye-bye. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go ahead and break this down for you guys. This actually comes to us from Entertainment Weekly that has unfortunately let us know that Supergirl to end with the upcoming 6th season. If we scroll down and read a little bit, it says Melissa Benoist is hanging up the cape. Supergirl will conclude with its upcoming 6th season, the CW, Warner Brothers TV, and Berlanti Productions announced on Tuesday. It was not made clear whether the network canceled the show or the showrunners decided season 6 would be the end. The writing team has already started mapping out the 20-episode final season, which will begin production in Vancouver later this month. This is what this actually comes to us from Melissa Benoist over on her IG page, because she did go ahead and make an announcement. I'll try not to tear up while reading this, but it says, to say it has been an honor portraying this iconic character would be a massive understatement. Seeing the incredible impact the show has had on young girls around the world has always left me humbled and speechless. She's had that impact on me too. She's taught me strength that I didn't know I had, to find hope in the darkest of places, and that we are stronger than when we're united, and that we're stronger when we're united. What she stands for pushes all of us to be better. She has changed my life for the better, and I'm forever grateful. I'm so excited that we get to plan our conclusion to this amazing journey, and I cannot wait for you to see what we have in store. I promise we're going to make it one hell of a final season. El Mayara. And that comes to us directly from Supergirl herself, Melissa Benoist. So yes, guys, unfortunately for us, Supergirl will conclude its upcoming 6th season, guys. We're going to be saying farewell to Melissa Benoist and the rest of this cast. So heartbreaking, man, heartbreaking. Now listen, I know when it comes to Supergirl, it may not have been the most popular of all the Arrowverse shows, right? There are plenty of seasons that I've known of Supergirl where people have kind of crapped all over it, especially like 2 seasons ago when people were saying that, they were hitting the issues button too much, right? Like really bringing a lot of issues to the forefront, maybe throwing it inside of people's faces and things like that. I personally didn't see that necessarily as the case. I saw maybe like 2 or 3 episodes that entire season that was kind of like that. But for the most part, I thought it was a solid season. When it comes to this series, while I certainly don't think it was the best Arrowverse show that was certainly out there, considering the fact that we reviewed it for all 5 seasons, it certainly kept me coming back for more. And honestly, if you ask me, continued to improve as each season certainly went along. Now, Supergirl first started out in season 1 on CBS. After the show, I can't remember if the show was canceled or if it was just dropped by CBS because CW certainly wanted to pick it up. Regardless, CW certainly did move production from California over to Vancouver. And ever since season 2, I honestly feel as though Melissa Benoist has just continued to really fall into that role of Kara Danvers and as Supergirl. And I feel like the rest of the cast has continued to get better each and every season. So a little bit bummer that after 6 seasons that this show is certainly going to end. It will be interesting. Like for me, I'm kind of curious to know whose decision it certainly was, right? Because the article itself says it's unclear as to whether or not the show was being canceled or if they knew ahead of time that, hey, we're just going to wrap up the season for season 6 here. But considering the fact that Melissa Benoist is currently pregnant and expecting a kid, I'm wondering if this has anything to do with maybe she wants to kind of take a step back from being Supergirl for a while and just kind of focus and raise her family. And to that would be extremely honorable, honestly. And I think that would be a fantastic move for Melissa. I can clearly tell that her being a mother and having a family is super important to her. So that certainly wouldn't not surprise me. But again, we certainly don't know all the details in regards to it, whether it was ratings or whatever the case may be. But just from what we hear in regards to Melissa's IG account, it does at least seem as though they weren't blindsided by this announcement, that they at least either planned for it or they certainly have enough time to certainly go ahead and make any changes that they need to. Because it does sound as like, just according to her IG post, that they will be taking into consideration that this is their final season. And for me, that definitely does give me hope, because there's nothing worse than the show that just continues telling its story, not knowing if it's going to have itself a 6th season. So it ends on like a cliffhanger or whatever the case may be, and we never know what happens. So I'm really hoping that the writers are going to be doing their utmost to wrap up the Supergirl series as a whole on a really great note. Honestly, I think there's potential for some great storylines, whether that be with Alex, whether that be with Kara, whether it be with Brainiac going forward. I think there are some really great storylines that they could utilize for season 6 and certainly wrap up nicely. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. You know, like does the cast themselves, do some of them move over to other shows, right? Like one of the biggest questions that I think that we had going into this season was, hey, listen, we're getting ourselves a Superman and Lois show. Can we have 2 super shows on a CW network at once, right? Like, is this world big enough for 2 superhero shows? And it seems as though maybe for 1 year, right? Like we are going to be getting Superman and Lois, and then I believe Supergirl later on, a little bit later on in the year. Probably will start production a little bit later than some of the other shows, just due to the pregnancy and just the crazy pandemic scheduling that they're probably going to have. So it seems as though at least for 1 year we'll have 2 super shows, but then after that it does look as though Superman and Lois will be the only superhero show, or super show I should say, on CW. If anything, for some of the cast members, I would love to see David Harewood certainly continue to stay around. I know Stewart says he would really love to have Martian Manhunter move over to Superman and Lois's show. For me, look, I was a huge fan of John Cryer as Lex Luthor. It would be just a really big bummer if that version of Lex Luthor wasn't utilized in some way after the wrap up of season 6. That's another character that I certainly would like to go ahead and see moved over to Superman and Lois. Now, I have heard rumors and speculations that there could already be, say, another Earth version of Lex Luthor over on Superman and Lois. If that's the case, hey, then that's the case, right? But for me, considering of how big of a fan I was of John Cryer as Lex Luthor, I think that he's been doing a stellar job for the past 2 seasons as in Supergirl. You keep talent like that around if you certainly can. So we'll see what the future holds, certainly for the Lex Luthor character going forward. But that's the news, guys. The 6th and final season of Supergirl, it does seem as though they're probably going to have their story wrap up pretty nicely here, or at least I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we do. As far as the future of Supergirl, what does that mean for her? You know, I personally hope that they certainly keep her around in some capacity. Like, if I had to speculate, one of the biggest things that I've been asking for, or have been kind of hinting at, is like, can we possibly get a spinoff of Legion of Superheroes, right? I mean, they've done a really great job of solidifying a lot of those characters. I mean, we've already seen Brainiac 5 in here. We've already seen was it Saturn Girl, if I'm not mistaken. We've also already seen Mon-El, played by the husband of Melissa Benoist, in Chris Wood. So look, we've already got ourselves 3 Legion of Superhero characters. I can't remember if we also have Dreamer. Who knows what's going to happen with her, or at least her grandchildren. Like, for me, I would love it if for some reason the way that we wrap up season 6 is that maybe she winds up getting thrusted into the 31st century, where the Legion of Superheroes are at, right? Maybe in another season or 2, maybe we do get ourselves a launching off point for Legion of Superheroes, and Melissa Benoist returns to reprise her role. I like, for something like that, I definitely would love to see it. But it will certainly leave a gigantic sort of gaping hole in in Arrowverse going forward, right? No more Supergirl and Batwoman sort of world's finest connections that I certainly was kind of hoping for in the past. You know, she had such a big pivotal role to kind of play in the creation of the Justice League, if you will, here on the Arrowverse side of things. And now she's certainly not going to be there also. Again, granted, we do have Superman to certainly stick around, but make no mistake, I feel like the Arrowverse is certainly going to feel just a little bit different with the departure of Melissa Benoist, who I absolutely loved as Kara Danvers and Supergirl, to be honest with you guys. You know, what's going to happen with Kyler Lee, who plays Alex, Jesse Rath, who plays Brainiac. There's a lot of questions for some of these actors certainly going forward, but I certainly hope that they find another role in one of the other upcoming DC TV shows, or maybe you're brought back as other characters. We'll certainly see what happens there. But guys, I want to know your thoughts. Again, these are just our A+ opinions. At the end of the day, I definitely want to go ahead and know yours. So if I had a 40 ounce, I would probably pour one for my homie Melissa Benoist and saying farewell and goodbye. Thank you for all the time that you have certainly given us as Supergirl. Again, for some fans who may not have been super appreciative of the series itself, I would recommend maybe going ahead and checking it out once again. Maybe skip season 1. Season 1 for me was probably the worst of all the seasons. I really do feel that it does get a little bit better as the season progresses, but we'll see what happens for the future of Melissa Benoist and Supergirl. But at least we have ourselves one final season that we can all certainly enjoy, guys. And of course, we will be reviewing it for you here at A+ Hero Report on a weekly basis. So certainly look forward to that. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, that's the news for us today. And we'll probably go ahead and talk a little bit about this further on A+ Hero Report this upcoming weekend for our live show on Sunday at 11 a.m. Central Time, ladies and gentlemen. So definitely go ahead and join us there. If you want to follow us on social media, please go ahead and do so right here at A+ Opinions. And also hit that subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen, along with that bell notification. So when we do drop brand new videos, you will certainly be notified. So until next time, do me a big favor. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And of course, keep it A+. I'll talk to you later. Bye.